Hi, darling. Hey, gorgeous.
Hello.
Hello, hello. I was just saying that I've just spent 10 minutes in the freezer and I'm frozen, even though it's 80 degrees in here. It feels like Arctic.
You and your freezer.
It's I mean, it's just the most amazing feeling. The first 2 minutes are quite painful. It really hurts your hands, actually, more than feet. And the freezer, by the way, is a normal chest freezer that Ricardo bought, and he adapted it. So he sealed up the edges so that he could fill it with water, and then you just sit in there because we got really hooked on swimming in the Serpentine, that hit of cold water. The cold water makes you feel, when you get out, really calm. Probably don't look very calm, but it really, really does. And so that's the closest thing we can get to it here, really. But it's lovely. It's really, really good.
Well, it's working because you look amazing.
Thank you, my darling. Well, that's my Zoom light.
Stop it. Stop it. It's not. It's your freezer.
Yeah, so lovely. It's the freezer and the heat. I think we were talking about it, weren't we, the other day, that when you're outside and it's hot, all your blood goes to like the surface of the skin.
Yeah.
When you're suddenly cold, all the blood rushes in towards the organs to try and protect them from the cold. And so it's a bit like getting this oil change. You get the
Amazing.
flowing in and then, coming out again. And it just makes you feel really amazing. Yeah.
We all need a freezer, don't we?
We all need a freezer. And the other thing I was thinking of this morning is when I was studying PNI, psychoneuroimmunology, with Leo Prumboom, which means plum tree, who is a genius scientist. And the whole point of PNI really is to look back at our ancient genes and to wonder really what's changed in our environment since then versus what's changed in our genes, for the last 100,000 years or more. Our environment has changed beyond recognition, but our genes are still the same. We've still got those caveman genes inside us. And he reminded me, or I was reminded about it this morning, that the feeling of hunger is actually not a signal to eat. It's a signal to move, to exercise, to find food. And I think, and I've been meaning to share this for a while, that I've got one of those little mini trampolines. And if I'm feeling a bit peckish and it's not time to eat, I jump about on that for a while and the feeling goes. I promise it really does.
Well, I think that's when I was doing P1 and P2.
Yeah.
If I got, and beginning of P3, I would go for a walk if I was hungry.
Walk, exactly.
Distraction, but exercise. Not quite jumping on a mini trampoline because I'm not as super fit as you. But so you're right. And actually, when you think about it like that, it makes absolute common sense. You're hungry because you're going to go out and search for your food. And in
Exactly.
caveman days, hunter-gatherer, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, really, really interesting.
You should do a whole live on that, Petronella.
Yeah, we could. We could do it together. Yeah.
I don't know enough about it. But you do, because you're the clever one.
No, it's really, really interesting.
That is interesting.
Yeah. And all those feelings, they're called, like homeostatic feelings, when there's something out of balance or something that's not quite right. Like hunger, thirst, loneliness, feeling the cold. All those things should actually make us take to our feet to find the solution.
Yeah.
Because that's what we had to do in the old days.
Instead of eating our feelings.
Exactly. Oh, my darling. Anyway, you've been away and you've got a tan. You're looking gorgeous. You look really well.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've got my light. Thanks to you, I've got my light. So maybe
you got your light.
Helps a little bit.
It does help, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very forgiving, that.
It's very forgiving.
I might walk around with it on top of my head.
Yeah, exactly.
But I have been away. Yeah, I was going to say sunny Tenerife, but actually it wasn't sunny at all. It was very cloudy.
Yeah.
But I had a lovely time. Yeah, lovely time. Thank you.
No, good. And you're feeling better because you weren't feeling absolutely 100% when you got back.
No, I wasn't. I am better. I'm not 100%, but I'm so much better than I was. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
I only had a nervous wee before the live, not a nervous poo. So all is well.
Hallelujah to that.
Hallelujah. You know I like to talk about poo.
Yes, Princess Poo Poo.
Yeah. What a crown. Hey, what a crown.
Are those, Gigi, would you say those are the most questions that you get on that subject?
Yeah. Poo. Yeah. When I was nursing, I was known as the poo queen. But definitely about poo,
Yeah.
constipation for my lovely HBDers. Mostly poo is the most,
Mostly
And
poo.
sometimes going into P4, which is obviously what we're going to talk about.
We'll talk about
People
that.
are very nervous, understandably. Two things really, and obviously, I think also not obviously, but also when you're about between 9 and possibly 14 days, but everybody is different. This is what we need to remember. In P2, when they say, I can't do it, I can't do it. And I'm like, you can do it, you can do it. One day at a time, you absolutely can, because you're nearly there now. And once you get into P3 and you can have, your treat meal and oil and all of that, extra virgin olive oil, it's worth it. So those are my three things. I can't do it in P2, somewhere along P2, because we're all different. It affects us at different times. Poo is tops. I can't do it in P3 and P2. So I think, they're my main things.
Okay. And do you ever get questions about the other kind of pooing problem, which is too much?
Yeah, occasionally.
It's not very often.
Not very often. It mostly is due to, obviously, as we know, change of diet.
Yeah.
And cutting out wheat weirdly can make you constipated. So not very often.
Not very often
do I get that. I think actually only once or twice have I had that they keep going after the Epsom salts actually. So
no, not a good idea. So remember, if you're watching this and you have a problem with constipation going to the loo, it is in the glossary, all you need to know about it, and that is pages 195 to 197. Yeah. And by the way, if you joined this live and you're wondering what we're whishering on about, it's this book.
This book.
Snap.
It's our Bible.
It's our Bible, exactly.
It is our Bible.
It's HBD, the Human Being Diet, and this is the second edition, which came out late last year. And I know that lots of people have still got the first edition and they're still using it, but it is like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It is 6 years old now. So, if you want the latest data and all the latest research and everything else, that is the book that you need, this one.
Yeah, definitely. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Obviously, I started with the first edition and we didn't even have the cookbook then. But the second edition is just, I mean, honestly, I don't even know what it is. Is it about £14 on Amazon at the minute?
I think it might, yes, about
that.
I think.
That really is so inexpensive.
The bargain of the century.
Yeah, and you'll keep it forever, until we maybe update it in another 6 years' time, 5 years' time. But I use it all the time. All the time I refer to it all the time.
Yeah.
For myself, not only for other people. Hi Tracy D29. I'm due to start phase 4, but putting it off as I'm scared I'll fall off the wagon. You won't, Tracy, you won't. Let's listen to what we're going to chat about. Great information in the second edition book, page 181 to 185. And, just DM me, DM the whole HBD family. Someone is always there to help you. I promise you won't fall off the wagon. I promise. It's a lifestyle.
Gigi, because we had a chat about this, I think it was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah, it feels like weeks ago. How did you feel when you transitioned from phase 3 to phase 4? Were you also scared? It's normal.
Yeah, I was scared. Yeah. Of course, I was terrified. I was like, oh no, because I did it for 12 weeks because I'd reached my goal weight. Some people obviously do it for longer, however long it takes. So for 12 weeks, if you follow the rules, which you do for it to succeed, you have a structure and you know what you're doing because it's all there. And then all of a sudden you feel like you're set free and you don't trust yourself. And you should, because you've given us all the knowledge, all the tools, everything is there in the book for us. And our body has given us all the knowledge and all the tools. And we just need to be brave and listen to that and trust you and keep referring to the book. Yeah. But it's scary. And I don't know whether you agree, but I think a lot of feel that we've worked really hard, and it's not really that hard work, because once you get into it, it's fab and you feel amazing. But we've tried our absolute best, changed probably our family's lifestyle, saying this is how we're going to eat, we're going to do this for us. And then we go into P4 and we've reached our goal weight or less. We feel amazing, because you do feel amazing, not just about losing the weight, but physically, because food is medicine, as we know. And then you're fearful of putting on a few pounds or feeling less well than you have been feeling. I think for a lot of us, and myself included, I was very fearful of putting on weight, and I went under my goal weight. So once I thought, no, I have to move into P4, I did put on a few pounds, 3 to 5 pounds max, and then it settled, and I stayed at that weight the whole time, between still under my goal weight, but just under, and I just stayed, and I just stayed. Once I didn't panic about that.
You found your natural weights.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think, I know some people don't do that and they go into P4 and they absolutely stay where they were, and I know others that haven't. I think it's just not panicking when you go into P4, as long as you're opposite. When I say that, I'm not saying you're not eating crisps, you're not snacking, because then you will put on weight. If you're just following the principles of HBD and enjoying that lifestyle and having a couple of treat meals a week, or, you know, a coffee with friends or a glass of wine with your meal every night, then that's fine. I'm not talking about snacking in between or going back down to the pizza bar and, you know, going back to the old bad habits. And I don't think most of us want to, because you feel so good.
Exactly, but I think you've really put your finger on it. It's the snacking that must never ever come back.
No,
that's
absolutely
the most important thing. And like we were saying yesterday, you know, it doesn't matter if it's 5 hours since the last meal, or 6 hours, or it doesn't matter if it's 4 hours.
No,
you know, as long as
when you're in
period of time.
yeah,
we're just having water. Like we said, you can have black coffee, you know, between meals on phase 4. But again, you know, some people find that if they drink black coffee between meals, it makes them hungry.
Yeah.
Some people find it has the opposite effect, that it takes the hunger away. So we're all different, like Gigi said. So, you know, it's finding out what works for us personally, not what works for most people. And that's why it's also a really good idea to continue keeping a food diary into phase 4, or, you know, just taking a photograph or whatever it is, just to remind you what you've had. So if you do start to feel you're derailing slightly, you can look back at your food diary and maybe find, I mean, the 3 biggest baddies are wheat, sugar and dairy.
Yeah.
And wheat does it for me. Wheat makes me feel ravenously hungry and quite crazed, actually, and then hungover the next day. So I think there's no point in eating that.
We don't want to see a crazed Petronella, do we?
We don't. That would be very scary.
Yeah.
On the other hand, when we do find our balance, we tend to be able to get away with a bit more. Like Gigi was saying, you were saying yesterday that you could have maybe 2 puds a week. That's fine. But any more than that, and the sugar monster starts to get out of control again. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So somebody, Ward 76, hi there. I found that reintroducing potatoes or dairy sometimes leaves me feeling a little more bloated.
There you go. That's really good feedback.
Yeah, really good feedback.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to have those in P4. Have something else your body doesn't react to.
Have something else. Yeah. There's amazing purple sweet potatoes, quite a good substitute. They're a much better substitute, in my opinion, than orange sweet potatoes for real potato. And, you know, purple's quite a difficult colour, you know, to find lots of. I mean, apart from, you know, blackberries and blueberries and aubergine, but that can be problematic. So purple sweet potatoes are really good. Packed full of those polyphenols, you know, the plant antioxidants.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I've seen them at Dalesford. I might have seen them at our farm shop. I don't know that they're that easy to come across, are they?
Not that easy, but they're amazing. It's kind of quite like chestnuts, really.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. And much better texture than sweet potato.
Oh, okay. Right, there we're all on a mission now, aren't we? HBD, Sophie D. Hello, Sophie. logging her food here on Instagram is the only thing that keeps her on track for phase 4. Well, that's great, because also that helps others.
It's fantastic.
It helps you and it helps others. So yeah, that's great. HBD Pippi. Hi, Pippi. Technically, I'm in P4, but she dips into P3 during the week and P4 at weekends. And again, that's fine if that works for you. That's exactly what we're talking about, isn't it?
Do you think that your portions are about the same as when you were on phase 3 in phase 4? Because I think lots of people make the mistake of suddenly thinking, well, they can really increase their portion sizes, the amount they're eating, and then gets kind of surprised when they start putting on weight. So that's why P3 is 10 weeks, so the whole thing is 12 weeks, so that you really get a chance to get your eye in and to work out what a portion size looks like for you. And generally, I don't think that I eat that much more in P4 than I do in P2. But, maybe slightly more vegetables sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's about the same. I don't know have you found that?
Yeah, exactly. I have the same portions because that's what I definitely overate before without that. And that's something you learn, isn't it? I don't always weigh my food. If I feel like I need to rein it in a bit, I'll weigh it because I'm used to that. But if I think, oh, that's a bit much or that's not enough, then I'll weigh it. But yeah, I definitely don't eat more. My failing is the sugar monster. Obviously life dealt me a bit of a curveball and I straight away went back into eating my feelings and my emotions. And I kept a food drive for a very long time. I've only recently stopped it. And I'm so glad I did because I can literally see where I've dropped off the cliff just by having some chocolate because I'm comforting myself, and I'm not really comforting myself because sugar gives me anxiety. Plus, my body gets inflamed, really inflamed. That if anyone knows my history, I wasn't comforting myself, but I thought obviously I was for that minute, and it just slipped into, and that was breaking my 5 hours or my 4 hours if I'm in P4, just by having a couple of pieces of chocolate, and then an hour later having some more. And I could see it. I could see what I was doing. So that's my downfall. But yeah, I absolutely the same amount. Maybe more, like you say, more veggies. Yeah.
And you're not a great fan of red meat. Me neither. But we were talking. Both our boys like red meat. It's interesting, isn't it? So sometimes we have to cook 2 different meals.
Yeah. But that's okay, isn't it? They're worth it.
They're worth it. Yeah, exactly.
We won't tell them though.
No. And I think both of us tend to go for, rather than adding in, because again, this is completely up to you. You can use phase 4 as a way of adding little extras in. That's what Lara does.
Yeah.
So she adds more mayo or a bit more protein or whatever it is. And then she doesn't really have a treat meal. But you and I do, because I think we like that feeling of just letting our hair down, saying, yeah, you can have whatever you like. But not doing that every day. If we eat baked potatoes and butter every day, chances are we'll start to get more inflamed and put more weight on and not feel so. But once or twice a week, I think it's a really good thing. I think it's really important to have things that you really enjoy, but to keep them as treats rather than staples. That's the key, really.
And that's certainly the key for me, I think. And then, like you say in the book, it's about a little bit of poison as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that worked for me for so long doing that. It's only the snacking in between of the treats. I can't do a treat every day. That wouldn't work for me. I'd slip into the it just doesn't work for me, And I've learned that only probably the last 6 months. Where I've gone, let's just have some chocolate because I'm feeling really shit.
Well, we're always learning, aren't we? That's the thing.
Yeah. But this is the thing with HBD. It's not a fat diet. It's a lifestyle. I live the HBD lifestyle and principles. I've done it since 2021, and I honestly, people go, they poo-hoo it, and I go, no, I can't see myself living any other way. Ever.
It's funny that people would poo-poo a diet that's that's just, it's healthy, and and as we know, it can be delicious, especially if somebody else is doing the cooking.
Yeah. That's a great bonus.
It's still about mindful eating. That's the key. And really thinking
Yeah,
about
and not
what we're doing.
mindless.
Not mindless. Yeah, thinking about what we're doing when we're eating. Listening to the signals from our body saying, I think you've had enough, or whatever it is, or actually, I think you could have a bit more today. Because remember, that it's going to be different week to week and day to day. You know, sometimes we need more, sometimes we need less. So it's always tuning in. And I hope that's what phase 3 has taught us, you know, to tune in more and to listen more to the messages that we get from our body. Because our bodies are very good at giving us messages, but we're sometimes not so good at hearing them. Or,
Yeah, that's exactly it. It's a great human lab, or we choose to ignore them. And it's hard being female, you know. I don't want to just isolate the guys here because I do have a few guys that message me. Hi, guys, if you're watching. But it's hard, you know, because our hormones and different stages in our life, and there's, you know, we have such a wide demographic with HBD, you know, the younger ladies, the middle ladies, the older ladies, and we're all at different stages in our life. And then family as well, trying to cope with children or husbands or whatever.
yeah.
And all of that plays a huge part in, like you say, how much what we feel we need.
Yeah.
So it's all about listening. I still think that's where the diary helps, the food diary, the emotional journal. I still, you know, it's quite a powerful thing, writing things down.
It's powerful. I'm very proud of you for writing down the chocolate, because you know I would tend to kind of lie to myself about that and not write down the chocolate. But it's the only person we're cheating when we do that is ourselves, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I wrote it down. I probably didn't look at it for a little while, and it was only recently I looked back and I thought, oh my God, I could literally see the day that it happened, and it was quite. And then that week I put on a pound, right, and then I felt my joints sweat because I write how I feel.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day or the next day, how I feel in the morning. If I get out of bed and my joints ache or feel like my skin looks dull or whatever.
No, your skin's definitely not dull, honey. No, you look
I'm probably
amazing.
a bit nervous.
And the other thing we talked about was skipping meals, because you know we talked about, never mind so much about the 5 hours between, as long as there's no snacking going on. And you said that you sometimes skip lunch, not very often, but just when life works out like that, that you don't have time or you're out or whatever. But other than that, you eat 3 meals a day and you always have breakfast.
Yeah, I do. I know you miss breakfast, don't you? But for me, I've always eaten breakfast. It's the one thing I've always eaten. I can't not have breakfast. I seem to wake up really hungry, even though I drink my water, because I take that to bed with me, and I drink at least 500 mils of water as I'm getting up, cleaning my teeth. I can't miss my breakfast, otherwise I am a grumpy mare.
Yeah. And what's your favourite breakfast?
Well, my husband's poached eggs, of course, because he does poached eggs, doesn't he? That is my favourite, absolutely. Sometimes on the rye bread with avocado, but it's definitely my. I do like, though, which I thought I'd never like, is your favourite, which is the grated apple in seeds with cinnamon and salt and pepper. That's
Lovely.
really nice.
Yeah, I had that for lunch today. Really, really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that about phase 4 is you don't have to have protein in vegetables and weigh out the amounts of each or anything like that. And you know you can, if you want to, have smoked salmon and scrambled eggs for breakfast and no vegetables at all.
Yeah.
You know, it's just what really works for you personally and what makes you feel the best that you can possibly feel. Which you know how good that is when you get like halfway through phase 3. You think, wow, yeah, I always feel like this. It's true, isn't it?
And not compare yourself to others, because I love the Instagram family and I never thought I would embrace it like I did, and that's because you encouraged me to get a HBD account, and I've loved every second of it. And even though it's a really nice supportive community, and it is, you can go down that rabbit hole of judging yourself and say, I'm not doing my P4 like that, and I don't do that.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't do that. You know, we just need to be kind to ourselves. I think actually we're doing all right. We're doing
all
pretty
right.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
And
Well
be proud of how far you've come, you know. I mean, it's human nature to compare yourself to it, and we know that. But I would say something like, don't. Just, you know, stick to the principles, and if you've got any questions, ask, you know, reach out. There's always someone there, but don't judge yourself by others, because we're all different.
Exactly.
There's no right or wrong way, is there, really, for people?
No,
it's like
it's
just
personal.
yeah.
Yeah. And that's another reason not to blindly follow what others are doing on Instagram, because first of all, it may be they're eating foods that don't suit you. And secondly, it may be that they're making mistakes. So you need to make HBD your own and really, really understand it and read it at least once, so you really get it, and then you can make it yours. That's what the blueprint part is about. It's about, taking the lessons we've learned mainly from phase 3 with us into the forever phase, feeling as good as we possibly can, and not going back to our old habits, never ever going back to snacking, and never ever going back to eating ultra processed foods again, because that's not food at all.
I think that's the golden rule of people.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
only golden rule, isn't it? I think just no snacking, no eating the sugar, all the bad things. There's a question here from Mary_HBD1. Hi Mary, I'm really struggling with sugar cravings and tiredness. I'm not at goal weight, but dipped into P4 at weekends. Here we go. This is why. My weight loss is stalling and I feel disappointed some days. Bless you, Mary.
Yeah, so the thing is not to go into phase 4 until you're happy with your weight. That's number one. Because I think you said did you say she wasn't at goal weight?
No, yeah, I'm not at goal weight, but dip into P4 at weekends, and my weight loss is stalling.
Yeah, so remember that the key with phase 3 is to stay there, not just for 10 weeks, but however long it's going to take you until you're happy in your skin, you've reached your goal, you're able to get into those clothes you wanted to wear, or whatever your goal was. But it's not for when you're still hoping to lose some weight.
No.
It's once you've lost the weight, you're happy with that, then you move into phase 4.
Yeah. So Mary, I would go back to strict P3.
Yeah.
Until you feel exactly like Petronella says, till you've reached your goal weight, or you feel happy in your own skin.
Yeah. And stay away from the sugar, because it's that first bite of sugar that reawakens a sleeping dragon of a sugar monster.
Yeah.
If you don't have that first bite, then you interrupt the whole cycle.
It's evil.
Evil.
It is.
Yeah. And
poison. It is poison. And Mary, I avoided sugar. I didn't even have it on my first treat meal, if I remember. And now, to cut it out, I just cut it out. In fact, I'm going to probably do what you do, which is, my husband's listening, is not have it, because the minute I have it, it's like, it really is.
Yeah.
It is a monster.
It is a monster.
Yeah.
It's a strong drug. And remember, somebody sent me a text the other day saying, I've got these terrible sugar cravings, can you help? Can you just give me a few words? And I was saying, yeah, well, grey, puffy, wrinkly, energy crashes, hungover feelings, cravings. And you think, and apart from anything else, sugar is also using up our B vitamins and our chromium and our magnesium and our vitamin C, all the things that we need for health and immunity and energy. So it's a real anti-nutrient. It's not just empty calories. It's really doing us down.
It's depleting as well as. I would write that on wherever you've got your sugar stored in your biscuit tin or whatever. Write those things, wrinkly, puffy.
Yeah.
Write it there, so every time you go to get it, it's. The thing is, Mary, if Mary gets back to P3 and then can do it just one day at a time, and then you get to a week, you think, I feel amazing, and then you don't want to do it. That's the thing, isn't it? And I know some people will say this is very controversial, but they say that sugar is like cocaine. It's that addictive.
Yeah.
And it is for me, for sure.
Yeah.
So it's better not to touch it.
Yeah, better not to have it at all. But you can, and that's the thing about you, Gigi. Some people can't do, say, a pud, once or twice a week, because that taste of sugar draws them back in, and then they're trapped. Whereas you can do it.
Yeah, I can. I can't have chocolate. That's the thing. If I have some chocolate, dairy milk, or even the dark chocolate, which I like, even that, a piece of that, and we won't go into suck, don't chew, or whatever it is, because that'll go down the black hole we went down before.
Don't fight. Yeah.
Even that triggers me. So I'm better to have a dessert after my meal.
After a meal, that's the key, isn't it?
That is the key. And obviously our insulin is already risen, but it doesn't have that same effect. No. Whereas if I snack in between, that's where it's fatal.
Yeah.
For me.
There's a good reason why we have pudding or dessert or whatever at the end of a meal, rather than the beginning, because exactly like Gigi said, our blood sugar and insulin are going up gradually after we've eaten. But if we have sugar first, our blood sugar and insulin shoot up and then they crash down. And that's why we want more.
Yeah, we don't want that, do we?
We don't want that, no.
Hi, Katie. HBD has challenged my cooking, but for the better, and have this community to thank for this. Yeah, Katie HBD.
Oh,
We met her, didn't we, in last September's lunch? Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah,
amazing.
I agree. I'm not the best cook, but it's challenged me all for the better.
Yeah, definitely. And I know there's a lot to be said for batch cooking, especially when you're finding your feet in phase 2, especially if you've got a family and you're really pressed for time. But I must say that I quite like cooking the food that I feel that I want on that day and choosing the herbs that appeal and things like that. Like made a chicken casserole the other day, and it sounds a bit weird because it's very hot here, with loads of celery and sage and other herbs like that, and it was really delicious. And then I threw in some artichoke hearts, and some ACV, and it was really, really good. So there's a lot to be said for listening to our body in that way too. If
So
you
like a summer casserole.
Summer casserole, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. And I cooked, 2 huge packets from Trader Joe's. And I thought, well, that will keep us going for like 6 days or something. But between the cat and Ricardo, it's half gone already. He's not even our cat.
I love that. Yeah, but she's sort of adopted you, hasn't she?
Yeah, she has adopted us.
Yeah.
She stares at me. She stares into my eyes with these incredible green eyes.
Oh.
She said, I'm so hungry. I said,
Yeah.
well, you've already had
Feed me your chicken casserole.
Yeah. She's very good at spitting out the herbs as well. She doesn't like the herbs.
Oh, that's so funny. It's like Annie, if I give her a little bit with some vegetables and I'll give her some scrambled egg or whatever, she eats all the egg and she literally spits out the green beans or the broccoli. So Annie, you need your fibre day, darling.
Dear little Annie. So cute.
So Debbie Matthew, hi Debbie, I'm struggling with fatigue, just about to start P3 and just been constipated for a week, which now is okay, but feel I need to stay in P2 as I did not lose anything in P2 week 2. No. I'll let you answer because you're the queen.
Thanks, Mojo. Staying in P2 will actually make things worse because eventually, it happens quite quickly, our metabolic rate drops to compensate for the lack of calories coming in because P2 is quite low in calories. And so it means that your weight is more likely to stop. The reason you're more likely to stop losing weight. The thing about weight loss in the second week of P2 is very often due to constipation because if we're not going to the loo properly, everything kind of grinds to a halt.
Yeah.
So do read pages 195 to 197. Make sure that you're pooing really properly. Proper snake-like poos, at the very least cigars, no rabbit poos.
And dehydrated if you are.
And move into phase 3 because apart from anything else, the olive oil, the extra virgin olive oil will help. As will the treat meal. The treat meal is designed not only to give us a bit of fun, but also to re-stimulate weight loss because we're suddenly getting a glut of extra calories, and the body says, "I'm not starving after all. I'll burn some more fat."
Yeah,
that's how it works. Yeah,
it's interesting when you do have your treat meal. I put on a few pounds after it. So my treat meal usually on a Saturday or Sunday lunchtime. By the Wednesday or Thursday, I dropped even more.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I only weighed myself on a Saturday because my treat meal was mostly on a Sunday lunchtime. And my husband used to say, "What's today? It's weigh day." So I tried not to. Initially in P3, I was like, "Oh, get on the scales after my treat meal," and I was like, "Oh, no." But yeah, it's so important, your treat meal, so important. I do have lots of messages saying, "Do I really have to have my treat meal?" Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's all part of the plan.
All part of the plan. Yeah, not random at all. And yeah, finding our natural weight and staying there and resetting our bodies. And like we were saying yesterday, Gigi, don't live in phase 3. You've got to shake off those restraints, but at the same time respect your body, listen to the messages it's giving you, and just take it with you into your new life. And people who say, "Oh, I can't believe you're still doing that diet," and things like that, take no notice. people are down on things they're not up on, and if they don't understand it or get it, they're likely to diss it. But you know how good you feel on it, so keep doing what you're doing and don't listen to any of the naysayers. That's really, really important. You know, people have the best intentions, but very often you hear that coming from a few people in a week, and you think, yeah, what am I doing? Am I crazy? But no, you're not crazy, and you're doing the right thing. So just keep doing it.
You're so right. If they don't understand it, they dish
Yeah,
it. And I think also some of it is envy
yeah,
because, and I don't mean jealousy because that's a different thing, but because really they want to feel and look as great as you
yeah,
because you do feel and look great.
yeah,
And I think they're like, oh, it's got to be a fad. It's got to be, this isn't going to
yeah,
last, you know. And they go, oh, yeah, you were. And then as time goes on, they're like, oh, she still looks okay or good. And then they can't deal with that. I think the
yeah,
saboteurs, isn't it? And it's a shame, isn't it? Because you think, well, you too could do this. Because I just say to everyone, it's not a diet. You know, the diet phrase is like the Latin phrase. Am I correct in saying that? For the way, like a Mediterranean
exactly.
diet, it's a word for the how we eat, not restricting ourselves. And it's a lifestyle. That's what HPD is. It's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
Truly it's a lifestyle, you know, and I always say that, and I said that really from the beginning. Once I read the book 3 times, as we know, I'm like, this isn't a diet, this is a
it
lifestyle,
is
you
a
know.
lifestyle. Well said, Han. And it's, you know, we can, of course, we can look at the negative and think, well, it is restrictive because I can't have sugar, I can't have oil, or whatever else for the first 2 weeks. But that's good for our bodies. You know, every calorie that we're consuming in those first 2 weeks is full of nutrition. You know, it's really seriously good for us, which is why it's just, you know, so daft to keep talking about, well, am I getting enough calories? Because if you're eating mainly a diet of ultra processed foods and you're getting 2,000 calories a day, that is not the same as eating a diet of minimally processed, really wholesome, nutritious foods where you might be getting 800 calories a
Yeah,
day. You can't
it's
compare the two.
bonkers, isn't it? And
Bonkers.
what's 2 weeks of you for the
Yeah,
rest of your life to make you
yeah,
feel amazing, you know?
exactly.
And yes, we might feel a bit rubbish initially, but that is because our body is going, oh, give me more crap, give me more
More
crap.
crap. Yeah,
Because that's what I'm used to, isn't it?
it's true.
Who's that? Leslie. Hi, Leslie Turner. She's lost 1.5 stones and can now wear dresses with a
Oh,
waistline. Yay!
fun.
Go you, Leslie. It's amazing, isn't
Lovely.
it?
Amazing.
I
Really, really
love
amazing.
getting messages like that. It just fills my heart with glee. That's so nice. Sorry,
And a couple of people have been talking about love the food that loves us back. It's not a question of eating what we feel like when we're feeling slightly deranged and thinking, well, I really feel like crisps. You know, my body is saying, eat crisps. You know that that's a false message. We all know that. Or sugar, or whatever it is. So, you know, just focus on eating the natural, wholesome, delicious, nutritious foods that
yeah.
your body understands and likes. So the foods that love you back, not the foods that you love to eat. Because you like the feeling on your tongue, even though you don't like the feeling in your body later.
Yeah,
That's
well, it's
quite
the endorphins. It's the drug, isn't it?
yeah.
That's what it is. It's that drug. So, Pink Walls at number 13. Hi, she lives near me. When you talk about sugar, are you just referring to processed white sugar? Thank you.
Well, anything that's sweet can trigger the sugar monster. You know, that's why fruit is so limited, especially for phase 2. Well, into phase 3 as well.
Yeah.
100 grams max per meal, because yes, any kind of sweet taste can trigger or awaken that sleeping sugar monster. It all pretty much goes in the same direction anyway. So we want more vegetables and less fruit. And I hope that one day maybe the government will change their guidelines and say, you know, 5 portions of vegetables or 10 portions of vegetables and 1 portion of fruit, because that'd be much, much better for us. But yes, of course, processed white sugar is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do limit my fruit, even though I'm in P4, because it can trigger my sugar monster. HBD Sheen, hi there. I had yogurt for breakfast yesterday and today and was so hungry 2 hours later. I then had a chocolate snack this afternoon, which I never do. I guess yogurt isn't a great choice for me.
Exactly. Well done.
Yeah.
No more of it. Well, not for a
Yeah.
while anyway. Yeah.
No, there you go. That's your amazing body, human lab. It's going, don't have
It
that.
does the same to me.
Mm.
You have it in P3, Gigi? Yogurt for breakfast.
Yeah, I did. And what I learned were the same. It doesn't keep me as full as good proteins like the egg or the salmon. It doesn't. So I tended to do have it when I knew I was busy, and so I had to get out of the house, and I knew that I either took my lunch with me or I was coming home for lunch, but I wouldn't be around the house because I too might have gone, I'm really hungry, I'm just gonna, not in P3 because I stuck to it religiously the first time, but I would have done it. But also it can make me constipated if I have too much yogurt. So I only have maximum twice a week. I love it with the warm cherries. I love it with blueberries and cinnamon. But
And you mix it with seeds now as well.
Yeah, now that's where I will mix my proteins more at breakfast. Yeah, so with seeds, toasted seeds. It's actually delicious with toasted seeds.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Nice.
A mango or hot berries. It's lovely.
And how are you with cheese? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, actually, I'm fine with cheese. Again, I wouldn't have it probably once or twice a week. Yeah. And I wouldn't have it on the same day that I'm having yogurt.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, variety is key. Variety is the spice of life.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So the only thing that you found that you really can't do, I think, is wheat. Is that right?
Yeah, and I think mostly bread, because I wouldn't eat a lot of wheat unless I have a dessert anyway, but bread. And that was obviously thanks to HBD, but also thanks to you, because it was wheat that was causing my migraines. And anyone that's watched any previous lives with you and I, you know, I did HBD to lose 2 stone. I'd gained during COVID and my husband's illness. I was blown away by how it cured me medically, and cured my migraines that I'd suffered from the age of 8. So and it was wheat. It's wheat. It's bread. It's bread. Every time I have bread, not every, but I mean, I was in Tenerife and we ate the most amazing bread one night because I was like, oh, I need to have this with this olive oil. It's amazing, and it was amazing. But I had a migraine the next day. You know. And I said to Abby, wow, look at that. That is my body is a temple. You know, it's a human lab. It's telling me. And yeah, so for me, wheat. I know other people bloat, but it just gives me migraines.
Yeah.
Bread.
That's it. Bread. Yeah. I can't do
and
that.
And that's nice bread. You know, it's
proper
good bread. I do have rye bread.
Yeah.
I do have, but not a lot. I just don't touch it really.
What do you do if you reach your weight in phase 2? I want to lose a bit, but not too much, and almost at goal. So look at troubleshooting phase 3. So stick with it until you get to phase 3, and then read the advice in the book. It's very important. We don't want you to completely disappear.
Hi, Lindsay. She's there. Thank you. Yeah, one day at a time. Absolutely. That's all I say to everyone. Just one day at a time. One day at a time. Don't think too far ahead, because I think you panic when you start HBD and you think, oh. And the same with P4, you just panic. Just one day at a time. We can't go back, we can't go forward. Live in the now, as Eckhart Tolle would say.
Very sage advice there, Gigi. Thanks, honey.
Everyone's saying the grated apples and walnuts or seeds is a really good breakfast and more filling than yogurt. And I find that actually.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought that? An apple. Actually, just talking about the apple, I did go back to the lady that messaged me, and I've had a few messages the last couple of weeks about people have seen somewhere there's a maximum weight for an apple. And I said, well, I haven't. I've never known that, but I could be wrong because I'm not always on Instagram. But I said, no, I mean, I choose the biggest apple I can get because otherwise I feel cheated if it's a little one. And I think Desi did a post once. She did a little apple and a big apple, and it was like, yeah, no, go for the big one. But there's no weight on your apple, whether you have it at breakfast, lunch, or dinner, is there?
No,
am I right?
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah. No, don't weigh your apple.
No, just enjoy it.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah. HBD Heavenly, one more day on P2. Well done. Exciting. Well done. Yeah. Hope you're feeling amazing.
Yeah. So in phase 4, really, it's down to you. It's up to you to make phase 4 sustainable for you.
Yeah.
It's your job to tune in and to listen to your body. When you introduce not only new foods, but also new combinations of foods. You know, and it may be, because it happens sometimes, like sometimes I eat aubergine and my face blows up like mad the next day, and other times it's fine. So, you know, it depends what's going on with our immune system, with hormones, all sorts of things. So do really think about keeping that food diary going. It's so useful, really, really useful.
So would you try the aubergine again then in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'd leave it
You
for a
fancied
while.
it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like peppers. Just thinking about nightshades. I'm fine
Yeah,
with tomatoes. I don't think that aubergine's particularly good for me, so I don't do them very
no.
often. But when I do, which might be, I don't know, probably 3 times a year, sometimes they react like that and sometimes they don't.
Interesting, isn't
It
it?
is interesting.
Our bodies
And
are
they
amazing.
are amazing. And with all the nightshades, remember that the most problematic part of the nightshades is the seeds. So if you do have a problem with something like tomatoes or peppers, make sure that all the seeds are out, and then try it and see if that helps, and if your body would accept that,
That's great,
or
great advice.
yeah, if you still need to stay off.
Yeah, that's absolutely great advice.
Yeah.
Someone here, Tracy D, 29. How do you know what your natural weight should be?
We did a live on that actually with Mrs. Add to Basket. So have a look back at the grid. You'll see the picture of Mrs. Add to Basket and click on that, because again, that's very, very personal.
Yeah.
Some people might be happy with a body fat percentage of 25. Others feel better when they're 19.
Yeah.
It depends on you and your clothes and when you last felt really, really good. And if you want to get into those clothes, you probably have that you can't at the moment. For instance, you probably had a pretty good idea about what you weighed at that point. So things like that, or how much you weighed when you got married. But actually, I think that tends to be very, very low. Because we're too excited to eat, leading up to wedding and everything else. And the weight falls off and the dressmaker keeps, oh, you can't go on like this because I can't keep taking it in.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not such a good one. But yes, clothes that you got into in the last 10 years or so that you like to wear again. So whatever that weight might be.
Yeah. That's what I did. I mean,
Yeah.
that's why how I found HPD was to lose weight. It's just changed my life. That really is just I want to say the icing on the cake, but it is the cherry on the top,
It is cherry on the top.
Yeah, if I meet people and they say that they're not well, they've got arthritis, they've got immune issues. I talk to them about HPD, even if they're super slim, it's really interesting, and they go away embiggered, and that's the thing. It's not just about weight loss, it's medicinal. Food is medicine.
Exactly. So the weight loss is a side effect. But if you are planning on starting HPD and you're worried because you're already slim, you're worried you don't want to lose too much weight, do start out with bigger portions. So 140 or 150 grams of protein and of vegetables, rather than going for the standard 130. That will help.
Yeah, don't let it. It's not about weight loss.
Yeah.
It's about rebalancing our whole bodies.
Exactly.
For the better. Yeah. Thank you, HBD midwife. That's really kind. Thank you. Bless you. She said, I know you were nervous, but you're doing okay. Love these lives. Thanks to you and Petronella for sharing your knowledge. Oh, well, thank you for all your kindness and support.
Exactly. Thank you for joining. Hi, Lizzie.
Yeah.
I think the only negative people are the ones that are jealous or wish they could. Okay. Yeah. I think so too.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it? But
really sad.
Human nature.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much, Gigi. You're such a breath.
Oh, you're welcome.
So
Thank you for having me. It's such a joy. I'll shout you from the rooftops, Petronella.
Thank you,
I'm your #1 fan and obviously I love and adore you because you're a wonderful human. But this is amazing. So I will always champion it, no matter what. No matter what.
Thank you so much, my darling.
My life. So many reasons.
Thank you. Love you.
Love. Bye.
Thank you, my darling. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Gigi. Bye, darling.